Kazana that there's the thing tonight. So,
Maybe
yeah,
she'll
she's
get a
had some upsetting
notification.
things going on. So I know she might be distracted. I hope she remembers. But I should have reminded her and I didn't.
Amanda, one of my moderators, she 16-year basset hound yesterday or the other day.
Oh,
Um, but she's going to be here, but I'm not going to do live tomorrow. I'm really, really tired from the time change, I'm assuming.
uh-huh.
I just have really, really worn out, but I have trouble sleeping at night too. So that
I
doesn't
have
help
trouble getting
either.
up in the morning too.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. Hey, Amanda. Yeah.
Well, there she is.
I do, and I do enjoy the extended light and um, all of that kind. The. I mean, it's still. I think it's still. It's just now starting. Yeah, it's still light outside.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I love it.
yeah,
I wish
I
it
do
was that
too.
way year round. I can't stand in the
Yeah,
winter
me.
when it gets dark at 5:30. Annie's like
Mm-hmm.
screaming to go to bed, and I'm like, no, it is too early. And now we have
Yeah.
the opposite problem. He's up late because of the time change, and we don't want him up that late. We want some peace.
Well, there's a full moon. I don't know if the full moon is today, but definitely Buster was acting like really. I mean, it was funny, but like he was doing this thing with the dogs where I had to put the dogs in the house because he was being just creepy with them. So it's, I don't know if the full moon is today or yesterday or whatever, but the moon looked really full last night. So
Oh, it
yeah.
probably is because we're going to have a total lunar eclipse Thursday night at 3 a.m.
Okay. So it's
So
maybe
it would
tomorrow
be
then,
cool.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Hmm.
we're on Wednesday already.
Yeah.
I thought it was Friday night, but then I read, no, it's Thursday night. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
I know. When there's a full moon and a time change, Buster really turns into something else.
Really?
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. He's funny. Yeah,
Everybody needs to get their drink. I have
yep.
this
I have.
nuclear looking stuff.
Oh, you got the
It's called
nuclear stuff.
Midori. It's called Midori, and Kondo
Yeah,
sent me on to Midori. I like a
I
little
have.
watered down
See,
fight. What do you have?
cheers. I
Cheers.
have ginger ale
Ooh.
in my little mason jar. Yep. I'll have to try that sometime.
Yeah, it's like a sweet fruity drink.
Is it? Oh, is it
Yeah,
sweet?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a sweet watermelon
Huh. It's probably
is what
like
it's like. I
Kool-Aid
like
with
it.
liquor.
Yeah, I like it watered down because I don't like the alcohol taste of things. I'm not
Uh-huh.
like I like light drinks. I like light beer,
Yeah.
I like fruity drinks. I don't like
Hmm.
grown up drinks. Vodka.
See, I do.
Do you like
I
grown
like
up
grown
drinks?
I like grown-up drinks. Yes. Yeah. I like the driest of wine. I mean,
Oh Lord.
I don't have anything against, drinking a sweet wine or sweet red. I like Cabernet the most, but all those fancy names, but like that seven
Oh, I'll do
drink.
Arbor Mist.
Yeah. That's why I like because it's very carbonated.
It's
Yeah.
like a soda.
But yeah, but I can pretty much handle anything. But I like apple cider vinegar too, so I'm kind of out
Oh wow.
there.
Yeah.
I saw it, Condo. It ain't just me. Rebecca should be listening too. Condo had some
What's
questions,
going on?
Rebecca.
Oh, okay. Please bop gun over the head with my question. What's the
Yeah.
question?
He said topic
Midori is
for
a
tonight.
honeydew liquor. It's a honeydew liquor. That's right. I thought it was watermelon.
Earlier he said topic for tonight, how did Sunny, Ani, Buster, and Percy get their vocabularies? Was it over teaching or just imitation? And
I'm
hi,
looking
everybody. Thanks
for
for being here.
read. Okay. All right. Buster's is interesting. Why don't you start with Buster's talking and all?
Well, honestly, Buster, I love you. He'll say certain things like that, but most of the time when Buster's going on one or singing a song, it's word salad. It really is like a word salad.
You think it's more of a
Um,
natural thing rather than somebody pounding something into him?
I think that prior to coming to us, I think that hang on. Oh, okay. Amanda just said they keep losing sound from me.
Yeah, it's doing the
Hmm.
jitter thing, but not as bad as when we talked earlier.
Okay. Well, if it keeps up, maybe we can start over and I'll put it on my 5G. If know if it'll let me like go out and come back in. Didn't I try that last time and it ended up
I can't remember.
going black on my end? I think I tried to do it last time and it went black on my end. It's my fault because I use my personal phone. I normally turn off my internet. It might be my Bluetooth as well because I accidentally washed these in the washer machine, but they've still been working.
Say you're a housewife
um,
without saying you're a housewife.
yeah, or say you're old without saying you're old.
Yeah,
and but
there you go.
I'm usually really good about I clean out my because I always wear like the like yoga pants or whatever, even though I don't do yoga, and I keep my phone and my headset in my pockets, and I'm really good about taking all that stuff out. But I think every now and then it just you know gets it.
Yeah,
But is it better, guys? Is it better?
yeah,
Is
it's
the
better
sound
on my
okay?
end. It
Okay.
stopped kind of doing it somewhat on my end.
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, Buster to me just kind of puts all these things that he's heard together. Um, I do think the longer we have him, the more he gets context. For example, tomorrow, I have a video coming out tomorrow that we're joking with him about something, and then at bedtime, Ken is telling Buster something, and to me, some of the things I'm hearing him say, it's like he understood what we were saying and
Yeah.
understood it was a joke. So he was throwing back these things that, um, you know, so because I mean, when I first got him, I didn't think we understood context in the way African Gray does, but it does. I don't think that Percy does in the way Buster and Earl do, but he sure can sing. But my birds pretty much came talking. So, what about Ani? Did you? I know he does the la la la. He
Yeah,
likes to sing la la la.
I don't know where he got that. So that's something he taught me and I mimicked back to him. But he
Hmm.
started to la 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 by himself. He's
That's so
come up
cute.
now with
Hmm.
ta-da. That's his new thing.
I like it too. Hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know if he has much context for that or not. He knows if you do this or something to do it, but sometimes he
Hmm.
just does it on his own. He knows that I don't know if the things he knows are by cue or actual language. So, for example, when I enter the room, he says hello and
Hmm.
basically rarely ever says it again unless he's trying to get me to get him out of the cage. So he knows to say it when you enter a room, but I
Hmm.
don't know if that's more a cue or if he really understands, what's going
Hmm.
on.
Yeah.
He says, peekaboo when he definitely understands that's a game, and he does
Hmm.
that in context. I'm trying to think what else he does in context. I I guess I love you because he says it if you go to hug him or go to kiss
Hmm.
him. But he also says it on his own sometimes when he's looking at you, just talking.
Yeah.
Trying to remember, what else does he say?
Does he say Scott's name? He
Yeah, he
also
says
says
it on his own.
ALXA.
He says, "I
Yeah,
love you, Scott."
and
He says, "I
yeah,
love you,
and
Scott." Not "I love you, Rebecca," or "I love you, Mom." It's "I love you, Scott,"
yeah,
of
yeah,
course. I know he
yeah.
says
He'd
other
say,
things, but I can't remember. But,
well, he orders hearts
they're all
from
by Q.
ALEXA. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, Alexa. I'm
Condo
out of the room so I can say
shouting.
it. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
if he
can't say
knows
it
what
either.
that does. I know when he says it, he looks right at her and watches the light go
Hmm.
around, but I've not seen him on purpose look at it and call to her
Hmm.
repeatedly to see the light go around. So I don't know if that's just
Buster
a
has
word.
said that word, yeah, a couple times, but I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm so sorry. But I don't think he understands that now. Earl does though, and he is starting to say her name, but thankfully he says it very quietly, and she pretends like she doesn't hear us the majority of the time anyway. Like I'll tell her to turn the volume down to 4, and she'll turn it up to 8. I'm not
Yeah.
even making it up.
Yeah.
She's but how did Sonny get such a wide
Buster
vocabulary?
sings.
Kondo
Buster
asked.
Buster sings, doesn't he?
Buster
Real
does see.
well.
I mean, Buster really is trying to write a song. Like it's not. I know I say like Buster's original song. He really is. He really is trying to sing and have lyrics. I'll even tell him sometimes when he's doing something, like when he's just like doing a, I don't know, and I'll say, just give me some lyrics, do some lyrics. So he he really does attempt to sing, yeah, for sure, which is really funny to me for a cockatoo, for an umbrella to
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Onni
yeah.
loves singing, but it's just vowels with an occasional consonant.
Mhm.
But he's very melodic,
Yeah.
very melodic.
Mhm. That's what I love about the twos. The two are so
Yeah.
animated, and the Goffins. The Goffins are um
Oh, the Goffins will make you
Kate does.
twitch. I had a Goffin,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget when I brought her
Mhm.
home. I'm waiting for a bird to just, sit on its cage, sit on its perch. Oh my god. It was just there was none of that, and she wouldn't sit with you,
Mhm.
she wouldn't sit anywhere. It was constant movement, it was constant getting into things, biting things.
Mhm.
Um, you couldn't sit still. I mean, it was often I
Yeah.
remember I got cold feet, and because it was my first cockatoo, and I remember crying to Scott, "This is not what I bargained for, this is not what I
Signed up for.
bought, this is not what I"
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
I I don't want this, and I had really
Yeah.
cold feet and kinda regretted it, but I had to get
Mhm.
used to her, and part of it was because she was a baby and then going through puberty. It took her a few years, but then she did find places she liked to play, and she did
Yeah.
enjoy sitting with us, but even so, I mean, I called her a goofy Goffin, and a hamburger short of
Mhm.
a Happy Meal, but
Yeah. We always used to say it about one of our dogs.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah?
my friend that I know from YouTube, Kate Does Crime, she got a Goffin, and I was like, oh boy. Um, and he talks quite a bit. He's quite a ham, but he does not want to be independent whatsoever. And I was telling her, I was like, I'm really big on that. I will make Buster go independently play. It's important. But I think Goffin's energy are like even more so than umbrellas,
They're so
from
much
what I
fun to
see.
watch, though.
They're fun, but whew, that was just that. That's a
They
lot of.
always said a
Um,
Goffin is like a 2-year-old on crack running around with a pair of scissors.
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
nonstop,
So
you know?
yeah.
But
So
Sonny got
Charlie the
his
cockatiel's here. Hello. I was just saying hello to
oh,
Charlie
good.
the cockatiel is
Yeah,
here, so I
service
wanted to say
dog, and
hey,
then
and to
I
everybody else.
Should have reminded service dog, you know. She's had a lot going on in her life, so I guess that's why she forgot. But I miss
Yeah.
her. I miss her. But
Yeah.
with Sonny, that was very much taught. The only thing he picked up was what are you doing? And that's only the phone. You know, anytime you answer, what are you doing? You know, and because I never taught him that. So he picked that up.
Mm.
Everything else I pretty much taught him. Um Something I didn't teach him though is when he was younger, I could put he loved little tiny plastic kitties. And if I could put the kitties in with among toys, I could sit there and say, "Where's your kitty?" And he would go get it and bring it back.
That's really good.
That was freaking amazing. And the other thing that
Yeah.
wasn't taught to him is, "Hi, Scott." He sits there and says hi to everybody else, you know, no
Hmm.
name, but only to Scott. He'll sit there and say, "Hi, Scott." Nobody says that,
Yeah.
you know? So
Hmm. That's
everything
sweet.
else I
He
directly
is
taught.
he is one of, to me, the smartest because he sings lyrics from songs. See,
Yeah.
like Percy will imitate songs in whistle, but he does not actually sing songs. Now he does speak, but he doesn't sing lyrics from a song.
Hmm.
Um, so that was the thing that amazed me. I mean, and there may be others, but to me, the only cockatoo I've ever seen sing lyrics like that is Sonny. Um, yeah, so that is really cool.
Hey, off subject, but we might see Condo next week. Oh, wait, that's right. We're
Oh
not
yeah,
doing a wins out. We're not doing a wins out. I forgot.
yeah. Well, if I can look at the calendar, if he wants, we might be able to do one.
Yeah, I might be able to. And he could
I mean,
sit here with us.
yeah. You just let me know, and I can check my calendar as well. Yeah. Um,
That would be
it,
fun.
you have to behave yourself, Condo.
Yeah, he won't.
No drinks for you.
Yes, no drinks for you. Here's your water.
Yeah,
Even
that's
that
right.
might be too much for him to handle. I don't even think he can handle that.
A hand of water.
Yeah, yeah. I don't want to give him anything.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
So
Matt.
does anybody have any I'm looking at I've had so
You
many
said you had
questions
some questions, I know. That, oh, wow. That's a lot. Hi, Bobo.
pages.
Wow.
Most of them we've answered though. That's the thing. Somebody asked what's the most challenging aspect of caring for a cockatoo? How do you manage it? What's the most challenging thing?
My most challenging thing would just be the fact that Bubba's not bonded to me. And so everything I do is, doesn't like for me to sweep. He'll attack me. He doesn't want me to be in his bedroom. He does sit with me. Yet he wants to know where I am at every turn. If he can't see me, he constantly is yelling, "Mama, mama." I can back me up on that. She's heard on the phone yell "mom" 20 times in a row if I'm beyond like a where he can see me. But my biggest challenge with him is literally like the clean and the care, trying to get him up when he needs to go up if Ken's not available. It's those are really tricky things for me because look, it hurts when they bite. They hurt you. When they bite, they hurt you. So, oh,
Oh, look
Charlie,
what
that was
Charlie
very
the
nice.
cockatoo did.
Yeah, Charlie the cockatoo is awesome. If you don't follow Charlie, you should go give him
Yeah,
a
follow
check out.
Charlie's
He's the
on
cutest.
Facebook, and I think Charlie's on
Hmm.
TikTok. Has a lot of good
He's on
TikToks.
TikTok. Yeah,
Charlie the
yeah, she
cockatoo.
does. I
Yeah, cockatoo. Sorry,
Charlie
cockatoo.
owner does a lot of really cute content. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
he has antics
yeah, I love
for
her.
sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay. We were
that's my
talking
most.
about
What about
managing.
you?
What's the hardest thing? Hmm. I would say just finding time, because I feel guilty if I feel like I'm not giving him enough time, I feel horribly guilty. So
Mhm.
finding the time to, just talking to him, having him out, taking
Mhm.
him places. I mean, it feels like he should be out all the time, which they probably should if you can do it. I did with Tika. She was out 8 hours a day on her own
Mhm.
with us, and she had a wonderful life that way. And I wish Ani would understand that if he didn't bite me or attack the couch, that he would be able to be out. And I'm like, as soon
Mhm.
as he bites me, I put him up.
Well, that was
And
nice
I'm like,
then.
what is there not to understand? Don't bite me, you get to be out.
Mhm.
It's simple.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that. So for me personally with Ani, that's what it is. Um
Mhm.
Eating, setting him up, cleaning the cage, all that's nothing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It really
So,
is.
um, Dennis gave you a super chat as well. So thank you, Dennis. That was very nice. Thank you for supporting the channel, you guys. Um, See, I sometimes if I've had a busy morning and I get behind, I just get all like, but that's me in my own mind. That doesn't really have anything to do with the birds. Now, not speaking of Buster, but Earl is challenging in his own way because of his noises that he makes.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
he's very
Forgot about the
screamy.
screaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very bad. And it doesn't come off on videos like it really is in the house. Um, and he knows it bothers Ken, so he likes to do it extra when Ken's because birds don't care if you give them attention that's negative or positive. And if a bird knows something bothers you, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's
it's
why they bite your feet and everything is it's a game to
yeah,
them. They bite your foot, you jump. It's kind of like and a
mm-hmm,
squeaky toy. They bite,
yeah,
you make a sound.
yeah,
So you're an
yeah.
animated toy to them.
Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of like if I have to make phone calls or whatever, I'll have to like shut a door. You can still really kind of hear. Ken heard him editing last night, and he heard it out of my Bluetooth. That's how sensitive he is to it. But he out of like my headphones, he could hear the. He's like, Earl just didn't sleep," and I was like, "No, oh, can they not hear me again?
You're jumping a lot, yeah. You're like
Am I?"
jumping kind of thing where the sound kind of
Hmm.
drops a little bit. But
Let me put my other headphone in and try like see if that helps and see. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know.
does that mean I could say something and you won't hear?
Yeah, I can hear you. What was you gonna say?
I don't know. I was going to think of something.
Uh,
I was going to
um,
try and think of something.
something. Kondo could think of something quick.
Hard to think quick when you're drinking Midori.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that I think in really in an odd way, behavior wise, I guess Buster's more difficult, but mentally Earl is more difficult.
I
Um,
think as far
that's
as
not Earl's fault.
yeah, I think as far as the noise, that goes with any bird pretty much. They
Yeah.
say parakeets are the quietest. Well, I got 2 parakeets, and the problem with them is it's nonstop. Like it's
Hmm.
nonstop. They'll even when they sleep and they have their face tucked in their wing, they're still chattering away. And if you
Hmm.
turn on the
Oh
water
yeah.
or talk on the phone, they get loud.
Yeah.
So that part of it's kind of hard. So there's really no quiet, though Pip the parrotlet was pretty quiet. I have to admit that.
Hmm.
But like you said with Ken, different sounds affect different people differently.
Hmm.
Um,
Right.
I didn't mind Tika could scream all she wanted. It just went over my head. just the tone was
Mhm.
okay. Now sun conure, I hear a conure and it just makes me grit my teeth. I can't take it.
Yeah.
It's piercing.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I'm so glad. We were looking to buy a bird and we went to a bird fair. I walked in and I heard this noise and I thought, oh my gosh, what is that? I asked them and they said it's a conure, a sun conure. And they said, yeah, which blew my mind because we were this close to getting one. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's lucky that I heard that, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. Somebody tried to give me a sun conure, and I was like, no, thank you. They're beautiful. They're
Aren't they?
absolutely stunning. They're stunningly beautiful, but mm-mm. No, I mean, Buster is can be very, very loud, but I don't know. Even to me for that, it's different. Because Earl has like four different noises. He's got one he does the most, but he has these other ones too. And sometimes I need to just get it on video because he'll do it over and
It's
over and
hard.
over and over.
Sometimes it doesn't come across because I know somebody said that kikes can have this beep kind of thing.
Hmm.
And I know a young girl, and her parents couldn't handle it at all. So she
Yeah,
had to rehome,
yeah,
and it's something when
um,
she tried to show us in a bird group online, the video it just didn't come across at
yeah.
all.
It doesn't come across. I think Amanda has even said it does sound louder on the phone when we're on the phone than it does when it's on a video.
Hmm.
Um, and I know Kara, a girl that's been to my home, she was on a live and she said it's much louder than what it sounds like, on the video. But it's ear piercing. It is. I can hear him in my like if I walk over to my neighbor's, I can't hear him in her house, but I can hear him in her yard, even if he's like all the way at the other end of the house. I can
Hmm.
hear him. I mean, it's not ear piercing, but I can hear him. I can hear him when I pull into the driveway, like if I've left and come home,
Yeah.
I can hear.
Wow.
Um, yeah, you. I know where he's on this end of the house. If he's doing it in the room or in this playroom, I know the neighbors can probably hear it in the one part of their house. Not loudly, not like we're hearing it. It's pretty loud. Yeah, it's really something. Yeah. Um.
Yeah, it depends on
So
the tone. The neighbors across the street had a cockatiel, and for whatever reason, his voice was piercing, and we could
Percy did
hear
it
it
too.
across the street. One day I didn't
Mhm.
know it was him, and I thought some animal was in distress and they weren't home, and I went creeping
Yeah.
around their window and their bushes, and then I found out it was the cockatiel. Charlie wants to know what this
Percy
is.
figured out. Uh-huh.
This this is well, it does there it is. This is Midori. It's a honeydew melon sweet drink.
Mhm.
To me, it's a little strong because I don't like alcohol, so I put a bunch of ice in it. And
Rebecca's
Condo there
weak.
that you talked to is the one that turned me on to that.
Yeah. Oh, I think, but they are very affectionate and a lot of fun to play with. I'm not sure which bird we're talking about, but Percy is real loving. Um, African grays usually are not. There's a few can
Yeah.
be. Now Earl is getting to where he wants to sit up on Ken like Buster now. He doesn't step up. I think it's too painful for him with his foot, but he comes right up under Ken's hand now and has because he wants Ken to scratch. Um, because that ain't gonna fly real well with Buster at some point.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
another question. Let's see. How do Onni and Buster react to burps and farts? Do they get scared of them?
uh,
When Ani was
um,
little, when Ani was little,
mhm.
he heard one and he went absolutely nuts. His crest went up and everything. So I thought that was hilarious. So then I would sit there and go, it with my mouth, and it would just make him dance all over the place. But that's just when he was a baby. And Burp, they never
I'll have
noticed.
to try. Mhm. I'll have to try that with Buster because no, now Earl, he makes farts and belchy noises. My son likes to teach him stuff like that too. Um, I mean, it is like gross sounding. Well, I answered the phone when my doctor, or I called my doctor one day, and when they answered the phone, Earl did this massive, like nasty, nasty fart noise. And I was like, that bird, that's my bird. Um, I don't know if they believe me, but after the call and get on an antibiotic, Buster bit me. They know I have birds now, so I think they believe me. But yeah, that's why I go in the other room when I make phone calls. Like I get away from Earl. Yeah.
Oh, do you
So
you take vacations? They ask how I handle we handle vacations and trips. Like, do we take the birds with us? Like, what do we do?
I mean, what I have done. Ken and I have went away for a weekend here and there, but as far as like a regular vacation, no. At some point, we really want to. But pretty much we just have to ask our kids. Um, I had to go away to help a daughter, one time, and my girls here, they took care of things during the day, and then when Ken was home at night, he took
Are
care
they
of
able to
things.
give them water and food without being bit?
Um, well, the last time I left him, he bit my daughter. Um, but now that we have like that door that Ken made, it's much more manageable because you can set up the room with things that he likes to play with, and you can just kind of come in and sit and talk to him, and then he'll go up on his own at night sometimes. So, but my son is really good with them, and we wanted to add on like make the aviary connected to his room where if he
Yeah.
wanted to come in and out that he could, but it's just not in the budget right now. Yeah, and then the hurricane hit and all this, and other things. So that's just not in the budget right now. But that's one of our long-term goals is to make it where he can come in and out, and then we could, it would be easier on whoever's watching him. Um, there is a lady around my area that does come to your home and pet sit, and she's actually frequently keeps a cockatoo.
Hmm.
Um, and there's another lady I recently met, and she said she would bird sit as well. Um, but the thing is young girls and all that, but like still would bite them. You know? So it concerns me. And then he doesn't want to drink and eat right because Ken's not here. Like even sometimes if Ken has went away for an entire day, one thing that's helped me is that sink that turns on the little faucet sink. He'll drink out of that, but he likes for Ken to feed him. Um, so it's a real pleasure to eat something from and for me because he usually won't for me the way that he will for Ken. So no, not really. If you have birds, you might not vacation a lot unless you have a little one that you could take with. Could you imagine taking Buster and Ani to a hotel?
We did one
I mean, no.
by accident. What had happened is we were traveling to go up to New Jersey and to put him up to board him while we took a vacation because that's the only place we trust in the world to board him. And on the way up, there was a nice storm. So we had to pull over and spend the night in a hotel. And all we had was that little carrier. And he will not poop in it. You have to take him
Hmm.
out to go to the bathroom. So I had to stay up half the night, like waking up every 2 hours to make sure, are you okay? Did you poop? And then
Hmm.
we couldn't keep him in the basket the whole time. So we had to have him out on the bed and we just could not relax, and we were just lucky he didn't
Hmm.
scream. If he screamed, I'm sure we would
Yeah.
have been to leave. But so
Yeah.
because he bites, um, we can't take a vacation as far as I can guess because Sean refuses to even try. Chet is in Florida
Mm,
now. Um, so I don't know anyone that would be willing to try. As far as you
yeah.
could use the water, you know how the water in the food dishes you can pull out the door and there's a bowl. Somebody could do that, but Ani doesn't keep the bowls in. He can take
Hmm.
the bowls out. All his food and water is on the bottom of the cage.
Yeah.
So nobody
Yeah.
would be able to feed or water him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I I have one place that, well, they'll keep Earl on the weekends because they I boarded him there one day during the week and he cussed everybody out at it's a veterinarian's office and he cussed all the people out, like, because Earl has, some pretty strong language. Now they would keep Buster in a cage, but it's out in where everybody, like in front of everyone, and that makes me really uncomfortable. Um, and I yeah, I wouldn't like that. Um, so, and Buster thinks that every dog in the world loves him, and that's not the case.
Yeah.
And he would be really trying to get with the dogs. He was overly excited and over Georgia that they used to bird, now they don't. There's
Hmm.
another way that he does, but I don't like him. So um, I just, yeah, I would just have my kids do. I do have a woman not far from me. She's very experienced with birds. They had they to go to this rescue treats and such. And this African gray that never would make up with anybody, like climbed up her husband the day they did, and they ended up adopting her. She died of like a heart attack like years later. But so she watches her old friend. She has a really nice setup. They spend a lot of time with them. Her dog needs to um he likes going, and then my daughter keeps him about every 6 weeks or so. We try to give Ken like a respite weekend just so he doesn't have to, hear the him go on and on and on like he does when Ken's at home. And my daughter will keep him for a weekend for us,
Yeah.
or I can keep him at the vet.
The
Yeah.
littles are
We've been
easy.
trying to do
The littles are easy. We can take them with us, and keep them
that. Hmm.
wherever, or take them to a good friend's because they're easy to take care of. Our friends don't
Yeah.
mind.
Hmm.
They're not going to get bit.
Yeah.
All they have to do is feed and
Hmm.
water them. They enjoy watching
Yeah.
them. So medium
Hmm.
sized birds and littler are okay. Something huge like a
Hmm.
cockatoo is just
Yeah. I
tough.
don't know how we would. I always tell Ken, well, we'd probably just have to buy our own vacation home and go on vacation.
What kind of veterinary care do your cockatoos require? Have your birds ever gone to a vet?
Yeah. Um, so I used to see somebody locally, but he unfortunately passed away. And then I still took the birds there for a while, clippings, but now to a place it's about 3 to or away from here. He likes the girl, but he doesn't like the guy, and that's who's usually there. And he tries to attack him. Um, so
You
anyway,
froze. I'm
um,
sorry. You froze for a minute. Secondo said Jen caught Rebecca's disease. You're okay now. Just
we're
thought that.
passing it back and forth. It's my internet. I'm gonna have to remember next time when I use this phone. I'm just gonna have to use my 5G. I don't know why it just it works fine for streaming and all that kind of stuff, but when it comes to doing lives, it's just too much for it. I don't understand why, but Um, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I don't. I somebody recently said, like it is really stressful for them to get labs and all that stuff too.
I think so, yeah.
hmm So
I
I
mean,
think
you
when it's
should.
necessary, I know you recently did it with Ani, but he needed it. He needed to try for his implant and all that.
Yeah, I normally,
Yeah.
you're supposed to take, I guess, birds to annuals and everything. What I do is I take them to one when I get them so they can get a baseline of what they're like when they're healthy
hmm
and everything. And
hmm
honestly, I don't go again unless something's wrong because I just feel like it's
hmm
so stressful for them. And I had the same theory for ferrets, really. Though I guess that's silly because they stress, but they kind of roll with things. So I guess it depends on the ferret. But I just feel like
hmm
exotics. I don't know. I don't like bringing them to the vet all the time just for checkups
hmm
and to get blood
Yeah.
work.
So I was going to do some on Buster last time he was there for his visit. And then they didn't realize that. And by that time, somebody had already come out to get him to do his clipping and nail trim. And he had to have a beak trim because he hasn't had that many beak trims because he does a really good job on his own. But I told her, I said, you do not want to see him after all that's been done. So next time we go, we're going to do some just to have a baseline with them. And Earl, they told me Earl's blood work, he had a couple treats on the way over, like I gave him a couple sunflower seeds. So his cholesterol was just a little bit high, but his
Oh
other
wow, it
labs
can affect it
were
that much.
great. That's what she said. She said, and
Yeah,
maybe he had a couple this morning or whatever. But she said it was she said actually it's the best blood work she's seen in a really long time. Um, so I don't really worry too much. Now, I mean, Earl is pushing 40. Um, so I
wow,
do I
already
do
that.
notice,
I didn't know
yeah,
he
I
was
do
that old.
notice he is starting to like I don't know if he's plucking or what, but next time he goes to vet, I'm not really gonna do labs unless she really thinks it's necessary. But I'm gonna just have her look at it and tell me, like, do you think something is wrong or do you think it's just age? Because maybe did that as she got older too. So
Yeah.
yeah.
What's another question? Well, should look on here first before I look on the papers. Yulanka helped me with this, by the way. She sends
Yeah,
tons of
Yolanda,
questions to me.
she sends some good questions. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
I
you,
don't know how
Lisa.
she comes up with them.
I saw too earlier, I think it was Bird Love said that Einstein he's loving with Jeff. Einstein, the African gray. And
Yeah.
he is loving with Jeff, you're right. But a lot of African grays are not always like love bugs like that. Not like
No.
the cockatoos. They're more independent. They're like a cat, I
Which is
guess, in
kind of
a
nice
way.
for some people.
hmm
You don't have to worry about them getting neurotic and plucking as much and.
hmm Yeah. Now Einstein does pluck a couple times or maybe once a year. Somebody can correct me on that if I'm wrong. But um
That's
Einstein is
normal when that happens because
yeah.
they pluck for their nest.
hmm Yeah, yeah. I I I don't see Earl Pluck. I just notice he's got a little spot on his legs. So I don't know. I bet maybe he does at night when I'm not watching him. But yeah. So
What would you tell somebody that's considering getting a cockatoo?
don't do it.
Outside of don't do it. Outside of don't do it.
Real
Suppose
quick,
suppose they are determined. They have their money, they have their determination, they're gonna do it. What would you say?
but first, real quick, Rebecca, Amanda said Charlie asked earlier if Ani is still crazy about minions or something along those lines. And then I'll
Oh,
answer that, what you asked.
oh, um, Not as much, not as much. He's kinda interested in exploring on everything now instead of getting obsessed with something, but he does seem
Mhm.
to like the color yellow, so Pikachu or Minions, so that's the only
Mhm.
thing I've noticed.
I was told that Percy likes the color yellow as well.
Really?
They claimed that was his favorite color. So I'll have to look that up and see if there's something to that. Yeah. What I would say is please go to a rescue. Please make sure you have an avian vet. Um, please make sure you have at least someone in the home that can be there 8 hours a day, almost every day, because cockatoos require a lot. They can't just be caged up. They'll they'll lose their mind. They have to be a part of the family. They have to eat with you. They're just so much. They're fun and they're great in many ways, but like they need as much attention as a toddler for sure. And you're never going to go on vacation again.
I
What would
would
you
have
tell them?
I would have a lot of money socked away because even if you
Mhm.
go on one accident's all it takes, and if you're gonna have them for decades, they're gonna have an accident. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And when you
Mhm.
go to these vets, they're ridiculously expensive. You're talking thousands. So
Mhm.
I would have
Well, they're
either a care.
specialty vets. They've had to have specialty school, so they're probably trying to
Yeah,
pay off their loans.
yeah. So you need like
Yeah.
a care credit card, and or you need a
Mhm.
little savings account. To set
Mhm.
up is very expensive. Once you're set up,
Mhm.
you're just paying for food, and if they have to go to a
Yeah.
vet. So once you're set up,
Mhm.
it's very inexpensive, but setting up is hard. You have to buy a cage that's as big as can possibly fit in your home. I mean, they have to at least be able to spread their wings and flap and,
Mhm.
jump around, and at the
Mhm.
very least you need to spend a lot of money on toys to enrich
Mhm.
their cage and let them
Yeah.
grind their beak down. You need your let's see, toys, cage, a harness for going outside in case you want to go outside. Maybe maybe a flight suit in case you want to take them in public because that has a diaper.
Mhm.
Um, a backpack for when you go out with them if you're going to go out with them. Let's see. There's just things that come up unexpected. Like, with your
Mhm.
toys, you need, like, those C-clamps because a lot of times they lose them, so you're chronically buying stainless steel C-clamps. It's little unexpected things like that that come up,
Mhm.
but
Well, honestly,
yeah.
too, they're great escape artists too, so you're really gonna have to secure their cage. Amanda brought up something too, and I can't believe I didn't bring because I usually bring this up. You've got to like check your pots and pans, your cookware. You're not gonna have candles, certain sprays, colognes, like all those things are very important to understand too. That's why I always say even if you want to buy a baby cockatoo, go to a sanctuary or rescue first because you might be allergic. The number one reasons that birds get rehomed is they had a severe like anaphylactic allergy to the dander. That's the number one reason from my understanding of why they get rehomed. Then there's other things, divorce, life change, jobs, whatever. But um, you really want to make sure that you can even be around birds. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're asthmatic or whatever, you are not a candidate. I have a good friend that would love to come over and meet the birds, but she has asthma so severe that I can't risk that the dander would do something to her, you know. So there's a lot of things to really consider first.
Our little
Um,
cockatoo has an unreal amount of dust. Unreal. I don't know
so does
about Percy, but it's
he
insane.
does, yes, it's a lot. It bothers me sometimes. There's so much, and I'm really good about giving them. But I spray them multiple times a day.
Wow.
Buster got a really good bath today. I have and air purifiers. Spend you some money on some air
I was just going
purifiers
to
for
say
sure.
you absolutely have to
Mhm.
have at least one
Mhm.
powerful air
Yeah.
purifier.
hmm
We have
And you're
one
going
in
to do a
the
lot of cleaning. You're going to have to do a lot of cleaning. Like I have to scrub down my walls and everything to get the dust off. Um, so yeah. And I saw I think it was Bird Love talking about Mr. Max. He does do a really good job with Mr. Max. So, um,
with what?
with I can't say the type of bird he has. Starts with the M, the cockatoo with the pink.
Molested?
Yes. She was saying he's a single guy that works and he has a cockatoo and
Yeah,
he makes it work. I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that it is
it's better.
challenging
Yeah,
and
it's
difficult.
better.
Yeah. hmm Yeah. So,
Like I would not go out and get a cockatoo if you tend to work like 50 hours a week or something. I just
hmm
on purpose, I just would not do that.
yeah. Yeah.
And be
Yeah.
prepared if you do that they need to be out a couple hours with you before you go to work. And then when you come home, they
hmm
need to be let out for hours after that, no matter
hmm
how you feel.
Yeah.
And
And I think he has a pretty good setup if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that's right. You're right, Kondo. He didn't get Max. Somebody asked him to babysit, and I think they
yeah,
just left him. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, soundproof room would be nice. You're right. But I mean, and I know it sounds awful when you say, "What would you say to someone?" And I say, "Don't do it." But
Yeah.
I mean, it just don't do it until because I say all the time, I thought I had done a good fair amount of research. I waited for years to get back, into having a bird. I waited for years until my life was different. And I still wasn't ready. I still wasn't as prepared as I really thought I
And
was,
nothing like they say, do your research, but nothing can prepare you.
Mhm. Yeah.
Not really. And even though I had a cockatoo already with Tika being
Mhm.
a Goffin, nothing could have prepared me for Ani. They're all different personalities.
Mhm.
He's a different species too. And
Mhm.
nothing could have
I
prepared me for how bad or how hard it would be comparatively.
I I really I don't want to say upset. That's not the right term. I really get concerned when I've had about 4 people in the past week say, I want a bird just like Buster. You're you might not get one like Buster. You don't
Yeah.
know. So that's the thing too, your expectations. You need to be careful of your expectations. Everybody wants this talking, dancing bird. They're not all that way.
No,
They're
they have
not,
to
they're just
understand
not.
if they see it online, that's only one of thousands of birds, and it's
hmm
online because it's being cute and it is a good bird. It's one in a million.
hmm
That's why it's online,
hmm
to show. So it's not always typical.
hmm
I can't stress enough to go to a shelter, like you said, because not only do you have way more choice, but that shelter mom and shelter dad can give you a history and can match the bird's
Yeah.
personality with your lifestyle
And
with
your
with
lifestyle. And also, one of the things I really try to stress too to people is birds pick you. It really isn't. Yes, did I go and pick Buster? I did. However, he picked Ken, not me,
Hmm.
and it's been a challenge ever since with me and Buster. But I'm kidding, but birds really do pick their people, and that's who they bond with, and even and look into their mating cycle and whatnot. They're very like, what is the word I'm looking for? The one person, they mate with one person for life. So, I that's something to consider too if you're willing to work, especially for big birds, because they just live so long and they get passed around so much. Um, give a big bird a chance. If you really want a bird like that, go work with a sanctuary and a rescue, and
Yeah.
You'll never regret doing it in that way.
And
Well, you
you'll always
might.
have a resource. You always have somebody
Yeah.
to call or go to if you have a
Hmm.
problem
Yeah.
forever,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep. Yeah. Because I know when we were really trying hard to grow Buster's wings out, let him try to fly, and that whole mess, and going after my face, like I really questioned, like, what have I done? What am I doing? So anyway, um, there's never enough research. That's why I think it's so good, even if you don't have a sanctuary or a rescue. Somebody in your area is going to have a butt ton of birds. Get in touch with them. Most people are going to want to work with you if you really want birds, because
Yeah.
they know. They know. So I think that's the hands-on is the best education you're going to get.
Sonny chose us. We went to the bird store looking at Indian ringnecks and cockatiels mostly. Well,
Hmm.
automatically I saw the pearled cockatiels, the pied,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, how pretty. And I kept looking at them and picking them up. Meanwhile, while I was picking them up, Sonny, a normal gray, just kept jumping on my hand. It was hilarious. And I kept putting them down so I could get the other birds. And this couple that has birds came up behind me and said, you really should get him. And I looked at them and I said, excuse me? And they said, a bird picks you. And the way he's doing it that excessively, that's unusual. You really should get him, not just what's pretty. I
Hmm.
listened to their advice, which is unusual for me because I tend to go for what's pretty. And thank God I did.
Yeah, yeah, Sonny's amazing. Yeah, I love him. And I do think, with cockatiels, they're friendlier with more than like the bigger birds that really are. More suited for one person.
Moon
Uh,
cockatoos. That's what they are.
Cockatiels are, yeah, cockatiels. That's what I always say. You want a cockatoo, get a cockatiel.
And let me see if there's any questions online here from
Yeah,
people.
we're about out of time.
Yeah, we're about out of time. If you have a question, type it now because I'm sure we missed them all because we talk.
Well, it's really, oh, Yolanda just got here. I don't know if she's
Oh
been here before, but
no.
mhm. um,
Oh no.
but I see most of it. I don't. Amanda usually texts me if I've missed something, but
That's good.
actually, oh, I missed something. I'm sorry, Amanda. I just now realized I got a text from you, but you asked in here and she answered it, so it's all good.
I don't see Yolanda came in here. Where is she?
um,
Huh. The last thing I have is Burb Love saying condo. That was an angel. There is a new cat, Dusty. I don't know what they're talking about in that chat.
where Condo puts bird, are you sure you're safe to cruise? And then Yolanka's right after there. She said, "Oh,
Really?
that's cute."
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, here she is. And she said, yes, and cockatoos are expensive to care for, aren't they? They require large cages, toys, which they quickly destroy, vet visits, and enrichment activities. Yeah, that's very true.
yeah. When we say you have to get a cage to start, how it's so expensive, the
Hmm.
cost of steel has gone up since the mid like 2017. So like the cage we have for Ani used to be like $900 or something. Now it's like 1,500 or more easily. The cage we
I
got
got,
in the back room, it's the same thing. It was $700. Now it's 1,200.
mhm.
So,
Yeah.
and a cage that we
And that,
would like to get Ani, you're talking it's 2,000.
hmm and that's what's scary for me, because what ends up happening then is then people start putting them in smaller cages and not as well built cages. Or now we
Yeah.
got pretty fortunate. We bought a cage that probably would be $1,500 new now. We got it for like $150, but we had to drive like 2 hours to get it. But that's the cage Buster's in now. It's a really nice cage. He does seem to miss his other cage, but it was just falling apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I like it. I like it because it has the bowls on the side that if somebody was watching him, they could take the bowls out and put the water and food in and then
Yeah.
put the rink on it. But even that he's gotten out of, so we have to push it up against the wall. So, but also, guys, under here, if you are around later, give us some ideas for the next one,
Yeah,
and
please.
then I'll put out on my. Uh, let me address this really quickly because I've gotten a lot of questions about it. YouTube does not call it community post anymore. It's just under post. That's
Yeah, I
all it says.
still sit there and go, community, community.
Yeah,
It just says post.
there's no more. It just says post now, and it's been really confusing to a lot of people. And it was to me at first when I got asked about it. I was like, "What is he talking about?" But I will put it under post when we're gonna have that. When I'm gonna have my live next week, and when we're gonna have wings out. But we need ideas. So
Yeah,
thanks for
you
being
can
here,
go to
everybody. It was fun.
we can go to our Facebooks or YouTube pages to give us some ideas for topics.
Yeah, that would be great.
I
Yep.
didn't run out this time.
I'm so easily confused. You're right. Oh,
I
cheers.
didn't cheers. I didn't run out tonight.
Good. Yeah.
Good thing
And
Scotty's not
yeah.
home, which I didn't get a flash show, and I didn't. But I also he wasn't here to finish my wine or anything to give me
Yeah.
another drink.
Yeah.
So that's a plus and a
I was going,
negative.
Scott. Oh, look. All right,
All
you guys.
right.
Thank you. We'll see you
Bye,
guys
everyone.
soon. Bye. Thanks. Bye,
Bye.
Rebecca.
Bye, Jennifer.